UAPs, unidentified anomalous phenomena. Are they extraterrestrial, interdimensional, time travelers in origin, or are they simply a result of top-secret military black projects, false flag alien invasion psyop, drones, or other human-made aircraft? Join UFO historian Don Ecker, MUFON State Director for New York Chris Deperno, retired veteran pilot Commander Cobra, and well-esteemed host and researcher Martin Willis as they discuss the latest news and topics regarding UAPs with a no-holds-barred approach on UAP-Crossfire.
And the bottom line to this story is don't believe everything you hear. This is Dark Matters Radio, but the reason I wanted to run the UAP-Crossfire promo is we're going to be talking about that tonight because my guest is Mr. Christopher Deperno, a fellow brother cop, a gentleman who runs MUFON in the state of New York, and of course, my two regular co-hosts, Mr. Gary Cassell and Mr. Mark Center. And with that being said, Ms. Chanel, please bring them all on board. And guys, welcome back to Dark Matters Radio.
I'm trapped in a box, John.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. First up, I gotta mention that this weekend we celebrated Veterans Day. Both Gary, you notice how I always do that on DMR? Gary?
Yeah.
Or Gary? Or Gary? Or is a Army veteran. I am an Army veteran. Chris Deperno is a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. And by the way,
what's your favorite color crayon, Chris? Just curious.
Orange.
and they just had a birthday, the 248th birthday
on Friday.
And Mark Center, who's a civilian. Do you feel left out, Mark?
Do you feel the love tonight?
Well, I suppose I could look at all you folks and say, baby killers, but I don't believe it anyway, so it's okay.
I never killed anybody under the age of 19.
There you go.
No, 19. By the way, to celebrate both Veterans Day and the Marine Corps, I did a breakdown of the classic film The Wind and the Lion today, which is when it's the other incursion into the Middle East the Marines did when Teddy Roosevelt sent them over there to deal with the problem when some Americans were kidnapped.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
and the Marines went in there and kicked ass.
That was one of my favorite 1970s movies.
1975.
Well, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but they actually canceled I think it's the Central Command canceled the Marine Corps' birthday.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
There's something strange was going on.
Where did you find out about that, Chris?
Well, where you can find out all the truth on the internet.
No, you lying sack of shit. I told you.
That's right. You did. You're right. But I did check it on the internet.
Yeah, see, now I'm sad because I thought maybe it's just Marines are all telepathically connected and know these things.
Well, we are brothers. Well, I mean, you know, it takes a bond getting the shit beat out of you at boot camp. You know, and so I mean, there's a bond. Did you get the shit kicked out? Yeah, I got the shit kicked out. Oh, we're brothers now.
Well, I will point out that Army and Marine Corps are the only ones that are called grunts and have infantry.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
The Air Force have really nice mess halls.
I got to tell you, dude, best food I ever had. I was in an air base, and I'm just like going, is this real? Because I thought the sergeants were messing with me. Is this really a chow hall? And they're like, yeah, because it looked like dark wood and candles and shit. And I'm like, it looks like an expensive steakhouse. That was on McClellan Air Force Base.
I never got to an Air Force base, so I didn't have that luxury. And it was a great day when you had breakfast and you didn't find shells in your scrambled eggs.
Hey, I got to tell you, when I had to go home on emergency leave in December of '71, I came back. I guess it was close to the end of January. I flew into Saigon. Then I got a hop up to Da Nang, went into the Da Nang airport there, and I'm walking around looking for, the desk that I had to find to get my hop back up to Phu and then Quang Tri. And I'm walking around and I bump into this guy and I kind of stepped back and said, "Excuse me." And I looked at him and he was as big as I was. He was about 6'2", but he was Asian. And I looked at him and suddenly it hit me. This guy was South Korean, a South Korean Marine, and he was on some kind of detail there at the Da Nang Air Base. And I just looked at him real close, and I could see that guy could chew up iron nails and piss napalm. I have no doubt about it, okay? I never saw a meaner looking guy. And I knew them by reputation. The Viet Cong and the NVA were scared shitless of these guys. Wow. Now I understood why.
Wow.
I will tell you, there is one thing in the Marines. And when you were talking about the chow halls, when we went out in the field for 2 weeks, I was the only Marine that gained weight. I will tell you, I had a fascination for their pound cake. I'm probably going to get terminal cancer one of these days from eating so many of those canned pound cakes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Folks,
yeah.
let me just explain to you. Back then, you had the World War II pound cakes that came in a can, and you opened it up. And those things were, I don't know what chemicals they put in there, but those things were damn delicious.
You have to drink an entire canteen with each meal, plus the canteen of water you're supposed to drink.
Well, with the pound cake, there was something else you had to have. The peaches.
Oh, the peaches.
You had to eat the pound cake with the peaches and drink the peach juice. Oh, yeah.
The worst thing was the peanut butter. The peanut butter, I mean, you had to take a knife and stab it a couple of times just to get it to break apart.
Yeah, it's that kind of peanut butter that if you go to put it on soft bread, it just tears the bread apart. You can't even put it on a cracker; it just breaks the cracker.
And Mark, let me tell you, the spam and eggs. Yeah, that was basically what you had every morning in the chow hall.
Don
we thought that was a
loves
luxury
spam.
at times.
He loves spam. Don Ecker is a huge spam fan.
Yeah,
I just learned something about spam, guys. That if you slice it into little thin sections, and boil it for 10 minutes, all the salt is pretty much removed from the spam.
Yeah, or just buy those ones with the less salt.
The lower salt.
And then boil it and throw it in the garbage.
Now, let me tell you a little story about spam.
Uh-oh, here we go. Here we go.
And Hawaii. They have spam pizza over there in Hawaii. They make pizza with spam.
No way.
And it goes back to World War II, when nobody could get any meat from anywhere because there was a war on, right? But spam was available because the American government was making that stuff by the boatload. And they sent it to everybody. They sent it to Great Britain. They sent it to France after we were in France. They sent it to the Ruskies. They sent it to Australia. Everybody was eating American spam. Matter of fact, it may, in many cases, have kept starvation off the menu because of spam. But Hawaii loved it. Now, I tried to get my wife to eat some spam. She wouldn't spit on spam. Okay? But I got to tell you, Mark is right. I love that stuff.
It would
I
make
really do.
it's if you were to grill it up real nice, almost like bacon, and put it on pizza, you'd hardly be able to tell the difference. So,
Well, if you put Spam on pizza, you're going to get constipated and have the trots at the same time. I mean, Jesus, Spam and pizza, they kind of balance each other out.
Now there's a good question from the Pooper Scooper and the Party Pooper. It's all about poop tonight. So in the service, especially the Army and the Marines, if you're out there in the sticks doing what you do, if you get into a situation to where you have issues, right? Like faucet issues.
In a doubt, you fire a full magazine, reload, and be ready to shoot again. Yes.
Okay. I was just, it's not the most clean situation when you're out there in the in the paddies and things.
C rations had little packets of TP.
And then you would borrow them from your friends to get enough to actually use.
No, the thing is, in the military, they tell you to fold it again, poke your finger through and clean your butt. That's how we were taught. And then wipe your finger off.
I don't know about the Army, but the Marines, at least one of our drill instructors was smart enough to say, go to the PX and throw in your backpack a roll of toilet paper or a couple of rolls of toilet paper. I mean, so we always brought a roll or two of toilet paper with us, out in the field. But, you had to find one of those ammo boxes, take your K-bar, punch a hole into it, and then just sit on that ammo box and do your thing. And, I hate to be a little graphic on your show, but that's the way it is. And pray to God you didn't get a splinter in your ass, Now
you bring that up and it reminds me that when I was in there, anytime we were going out to the field, I would go to the local shop, the PX, the mini PX, and I would just buy all their Vienna sausage cans. And my sergeant ran into me one time, and after he brushed by me, and he slammed into my cargo pocket, which was packed full of those cans. And he went, "Ow!" He looked at me, he goes, "What's in your pocket?" And I said, "Vienna sausages." He goes, "How many?" And he looked, I showed him, like, just packed full. And he says, "Why do you get that?" I said, "When we get out in the field, guys get hungry. I'm their medic. I'm going to make sure they got a snack." And those things are great in the field, man. Makes you feel like you're almost eating real meat.
So I'll bring up
another one, by the way. Do you guys like scrapple?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania staple, bud.
Yep. That goes all the way back to Rome. Scrapple. People don't realize it because, like, I first originally thought it was like from the Depression, but then, like, I read up on it. I was like, that stuff's been around since the Roman Empire.
All men talk about Rome multiple times a day, don't you know?
What?
I guess you didn't hear it.
No, I
didn't get the
memo.
There was a thing on TikTok where the girlfriends and wives would ask their boyfriends and husbands on camera, "How often do you think of Rome?" And then they couldn't find anybody who doesn't think of Rome, especially in the times we find ourselves in right now, constantly, right? So it brings up the question about the Air Force. I know how you guys crapped in the woods, but how does the Air Force do it?
Well, they don't go to the woods. They fly over the woods.
Well, granted.
But I got to tell you, this morning, this early a.m., I was up about 0:30. I usually get up about that time every damn day. I came out, got a cup of coffee, sat down, turned on my cell phone as I'm wont to do, and I got a video from the gentleman in the lower right corner, Mr. Mark Center. I watched that video, and honest to God, I have not laughed that loud and that long. I woke Vicky up.
There you go.
And she wanted to know, what are you laughing at? Well, when she came out, I showed her. I thought she was going to split a gut. Now, let me set it up. The video starts. Here's this older guy, probably mid to late 40s, obviously well-to-do. Okay, he's British. He's in his elite health club. He's getting dressed. He just worked out. And as he's tying his tie, he's proper British gentleman, a cell phone rings. And he looks down and he picks it up and hello. And this woman is on the other end and she said, honey, are you at your health club? Yes. Oh, honey, I'm over at the mall. I just found this beautiful leather coat. Sweetheart, it's only $1,000. Well, if it means that much, buy it. And she said, oh, great. Oh, sweetheart, thank you. Oh, by the way, I was over at the BMW dealership and I found, and she named this really upper end car. And she said, it's only $120,000. Well, for that price, make sure it has all the extras. Oh, darling, you're wonderful. Oh, one more thing. Remember that house we were looking at last year? Well, it's on the market now for $1.5 million. Well, make them an offer, but don't go over 1.4. Oh, sweetheart, you're the best. I love you. I love you. Goodbye, sweetheart. He hangs up. The guy stands up, turns around, holds the phone up. Anybody know who this belongs to?
First time I saw it, I loved it. And I almost sent it to Jerry Gary, and I said, I'm going to send it to Don.
Don actually told me that the other day, and it cracked me up.
Jack Gary. Well, look, guys, one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight, this is Dark Matters Radio. We are known for talking about UFO, UAPs, and other assorted oddities. I wanted to talk a little bit tonight about UAP-Crossfire. Now, Chris is one of the panelists on UAP-Crossfire. Commander Cobra, of course, and Mr. Martin Willis. Now, Commander Cobra, this week, now we've already done 3 pre-recorded UAP crossfires. Last week, the week before, and next week, okay, on Thanksgiving. But this Thursday is going to be live. Now, Commander Cobra is not going to be around. His schedule is wacky, okay.
Yeah,
but Kevin Randall is going to be filling in for Commander Cobra on Thursday. But what is UAP Crossfire? Chris, give us your rundown on it, buddy.
It's 4 guys with alpha personalities. They're all alpha males. I mean, if you watch the show, you'll definitely know that there's nobody there that's shy or timid. And it's about disagreeing with each other. It's about putting facts out there and challenging each other, or challenging ufologists, their facts, whether you like them or don't like them. I mean, and that's the idea, is to try to get to the truth of what, because there's a lot of charlatans out there. You know that, Don. I mean, you've been in this field a long time. Gary, you've seen it. Mark, you've seen it. That people come up with these cockamamie stories just to try to make money. Yep. And the idea behind UAP Crossfire is to challenge these people, challenge their stories, to make us believe, that is true. Like, we'll take a topic like disclosure and say, break it down. And some people say, yeah, disclosure's coming. And I'll say, no, it ain't coming. It's never going to come. These people are full of crap. They're not going to do it. And then we'll take another topic about, for instance, one of the shows we talked about the Tic Tac, where Commander Cobra and I believe that that's our technology. It's not extraterrestrial technology. It's our technology that's flying around. And so the idea to disagree, because if you see shows, and I'm not knocking any show, because I mean, they have their thing, but I want people to disagree with me. I want people to challenge me, force me to give the evidence or to make the statements that what I believe in. And I think, Don, you're the same way. You don't hold back. And this is a show where we don't hold back. We get into arguments. We get into disagreements. You know, I mean, I tell people, you got to have a little bit of thick skin to do this show because people are going to say, you're way out of line. You're out of there, you know, kind of a deal.
Now, this field, like so many other fields, is politicized up the yin yang. Okay. Now, I made it as a point of pride for years in all the broadcasts that I've done. I've tried to stay away from political matters. Okay. Let's face it, the United States today is as divided decisively as was the United States prior to. Okay, thank you, Vic. Vicki just gave me a note. She said, you gave disinformation. The I-10 fire was not caused by a homeless encampment. Well, what was it caused by?
There was somebody leasing the land that was supposed to have drivable cars underneath. They used, I don't know for what, but what they had was a bunch of pallets. And now they're thinking, and they owed $78,000 worth.
All right, wooden pallets. So So how did they catch on fire?
The person that was renting hadn't paid their rent since 2022. They're thinking it's arson.
Oh, well, okay. Could be arson. Well, it was obviously arson.
Our fact checker.
Thank you, Vicky. Thank you.
Okay,
I'd like some spam, Vicky, please.
Yeah. Oh, Mark wants to know if you could get him some spam.
And get me some Scrapple because nobody sells it anymore.
You got any pound cake, Vicky? I'll take pound cake.
My little helpmate.
She's Dark Matter Radio fact checker.
Let me tell you a story about my wife. Okay.
I hope this is a sexy one. Hold on. Let me.
This is a true story. My first radio show I did for 5.5 years. It was called UFOs Tonight at the Cable Radio Network. Now, back in those days, we were doing UFO magazine, and literally, when we were doing the magazine, we would work from damn near sun up to sundown. Well, Vicky always went to the radio show with me. I was doing it once a week at CRN, at first on Sunday nights, and they changed it to Saturday nights. So we would get down there. The show started at 9 o'clock. By 9:30, Vicky would crawl under the broadcast desk and go to sleep until 11 p.m. when the show was over.
Yeah, no problems would come from that. Nothing at all.
Oh, God. She gets so crazy. I would tell her, I said, honey, you turn into a pumpkin by 10 o'clock. Yeah, I do. Oh, well. So anyway, where were we? Oh, yes.
UAP-Crossfire.
I was going to point out one person that freaked me out this year when I saw the interview with Sean Ryan is Dr. Stephen Greer. My bullshit meter was just going crazy listening to that guy.
Give me a break, man.
Yeah, he's a joke, man. There's something. And then to find out that, he apparently wanted to create like a cult. It was like, what?
But Gary, who challenges them?
Nobody. I've never seen anybody challenge.
Nobody challenges these people.
I've challenged him.
Well,
that's why he won't come back on the show.
Well, that's just it. You can't challenge people like that because, like Michael Horn with the Billy Meyer case and things, they may ask to come on, like him wanted to be on Don's show, but if you were to allow him on, it's going to turn into a shouting match the entire time, and you're going to have to cut him off. So one side will shout at you and yell and scream and say you're a Nazi, blah, blah, blah. And the other side, like Greer, won't even come on.
Yeah, but Mark, is that a bad thing? No, it's not. It's not. It's to keep them as quiet as possible and not give them any oxygen. That's because they can get it elsewhere. I can give you some names of radio stations that they'll go on or shows, right? They can get their oxygen over there. Right.
Well, anyway, I wanted to get back to the UAP thing. Uh, now, the politicization of everything has bled, especially into the UFO UAP topic. And so it's kind of hard, if not impossible, to stay completely away from that. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking, and Chris will recall this, we were talking about alternative energy.
Right.
We were talking about electric vehicles and other things. And let's face it, the electric vehicles, I'll argue with anybody, the technology is not there.
No.
The infrastructure to charge those vehicles up is not there. You come to a state like this state, California, which I affectionately refer to as the state of confusion. Okay. California have been shutting down for years under this current governor power plants, fossil fuel power plants, gas, coal, been shutting them down. Now, several years ago, well, again, 2.5 years ago, my electrical provider, Southern California Edison, we were having power blackouts several times a week for months. I ended up buying a brand new generator just to keep up with, for example, our refrigerator. We've had power outages that have lasted a couple of days. And it's unacceptable. I mean, my God, this is 21st century America. This is not Venezuela. So, it's
getting pretty close though, Don.
Yeah.
These days, you're right. It is. But at any rate, so one of our panelists, Martin, is very uncomfortable talking about those things, okay, when he wants to be talking about the UFO UAP thing. But I don't see how you get away from it. Chris, do you?
Well, I think I have to say this, Don, that everything in this government is connected and conceived and manipulated. I don't care if it's energy, UFO, the war, everything. It's somehow connected one way or another. How deep they're connected, nobody knows. But I mean, there's when you talk about energy, you got to talk about, do we have free energy? Does Tesla make free energy? Do we have anti-gravity? Do we have zero energy? Do we have fusion instead of fission? Can we build fusion plants? Now that's all connected to ufology. I mean, energy is connected to ufology. For instance, I was talking to Michael Schratt, who explained to me that, some of the bombers, the newly bombers may have anti-gravity devices in them, because the new bombers, from what people are telling me, is that they can hover. Now, a propulsion type of engine can't hover. It just doesn't have that thing unless you have a turbofan. Now you'll say, well, wait a minute, Chris. Now there's planes that do hover, but you can hear them because they have a turbofan that does it. There's no sound to these new bombers, from what I've been told. There's no sound. So the turbofans are probably out of the picture, but they definitely think that there's anti-gravity. So yes, energy, new propulsion systems, technology is all connected to the UFO field. Now, do I think that there's people in the government that, and this is politics, do I think people in the government will do anything to keep this stuff hidden? Absolutely. They don't want this stuff out because they got money invested in other things that they are, until they bleed it dry, we'll keep it going.
Well, the anti-gravity thing, and I've mentioned this on many occasions, I know that it was being extensively studied and researched after World War II. Now, in the aftermath of World War II, the American government, in secret, the military, and the intelligence people brought over to the United States every Nazi scientist they could lay their hands on. They did it in secret. They did not want the people to know what they were up to. And why did they do that? Well, they knew that if we didn't do it, the Russians would, because the Soviet Union did exactly the same thing. Every rocket scientist, every scientist, in any other field of endeavor the Nazis were up to, everything from mind control to experimental medicine, who knows what, they were grabbing them just like we did. Now, most people today may have heard somewhere along the line that the father of the American moon program, Wernher von Braun, the guy that we said, thank you, Werner, for getting us to the moon, was during the war a Nazi SS colonel heading up a good chunk of their rocket research and using Jews and others as slave labor, with many of them dying of disease, starvation, and even being shot. Okay? Nobody ever mentioned that after the war was over. Okay? And that, I got to tell you, that angered me personally. That angered me. But in 1958, at his very last public appearance, Dr. Hermann Oberth, who was the genuine godfather of German rocket research, was over here, was being interviewed in a press conference before he was sequestered by the Pentagon. Okay? And he was being questioned by the press. And he, at that time, said, we have the ability to get to the moon probably in 3, 4, maybe 5 years. This is 1958, ladies and gentlemen. So what would 5 years after 1958 be? 1963. According to Oberth, we could have gotten to the moon by 63. And what were they researching and experimenting with? Anti-gravity research. And that's what he said they were working on. And then it went dark and black. Nobody since then publicly has talked about anti-gravity research. And Chris?
Yes, sir.
I think you're onto something with these new generation of bombers.
I'm going to throw a little monkey wrench into my theory and yours. You ready for this?
Go.
Okay, so Wernher von Braun, when he was interviewed, and they were talking about the scientific stuff that they were doing, and about rocketry and everything else that they were doing, he had said, we had some help. Now, he didn't say we had extraterrestrial help. He didn't say anything about people from outer space, but he did say we had help doing this. And everybody wondered, everybody assumed, oh my God, he's talking about aliens. He's talking about aliens that were helping the Germans with this. But somebody came up with a theory, not me, but somebody came up with a theory. And I spent 2 hours the other night talking to him about this. And so he says, Wernher von Braun did not believe in extraterrestrials. He didn't. He wrote a letter, and I have the letter right here, that he sent to Hayden Hughes. And he says here, from my meager information I have concerning stories of so-called flying saucers, I would conclude that the stories concerning them are apocritical. And I try to look that up. It says that they're not real. Any statements regarding the existence of inexplainable aerial phenomena are, in my opinion, purely in the realm of fantasy and should be thoroughly discounted inasmuch as there is no evidence to support such contentions. And it goes on to say that. Now, that's from Werner von Braun. Now, why does he say that he had help? And now he says there's not. So Werner von Braun writes a book in 1957 about the colonization of Mars. Who's his main character in that book?
Was this a work of fiction or?
It was a work of fiction, but everything that that was in that book is starting to form right now. But his main character in the book was called Elon. You see where I'm going with this?
Elon.
Who is the person that is now wanting to colonize Mars?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. Now, if you look at the picture that Werner von Braun did of the rocket, and you look at Elon Musk's rocket, you will see they look awful similar. Now, remember, that book was written in 1957. So my friend is proposing that time travel is real, that Elon Musk in the future will conquer not only space and time and that, but he believes that he'll take on time travel. And this is where he'll put the stuff in Werner von Braun to forge rocketry ahead. I know it's crazy, but I'm telling you, he backs it up with letters that I just read you and everything else.
That's some wild stuff. Okay.
But think about why would you pick a name Elon as your main character? This Elon wasn't even born at the time. Elon Musk was not born, but yet he writes a book about the colonization of Mars. And if you look at Elon's theory and what he wants to do to colonize Mars, it's almost out of that playbook. I got you speechless.
So it's like either he just luckily happened on that name, or he had something given to him, information.
There you go.
Well, it's like the name Elvis. Did you ever hear that name before Elvis? No, right? I mean, It might have been out there, but you never heard of it. Same with Elon. I'm sure it was probably out there, but super rare.
Wait a minute. Sonny Crockett's alligator was named Elvis.
That's true, but it was after Elvis. After Elvis was famous.
That's the 1980s, you drunkard.
Yeah, but remember,
what about Adolf Hitler? No more Adolf Hitlers. What's up with that?
or this. Yeah.
But you have to look at what Werner von Braun said. He did acknowledge that they had help, but he didn't say it was alien help.
Like, what does that even mean? That is such a weird thing to say.
But he said it.
I know. So it would. I don't know why nobody what do you mean you had help? Who? What?
Well, that for some reason it kind of reminds me of that inexplicable event that Neil Armstrong went to at the White House, where he basically said that the truth is wrapped up in so many layers, and I forget exactly how he expressed it, but the implication I thought he was making is that things happened on the moon that has been hidden from us ever since. And that could only mean, I think, and it goes back to rumors to, basically the beginning of the 1970s, that the astronauts, when they landed on the moon, were being observed by other beings that were already up there.
Well, it means one of two things. It's either ET or we were already up there, or somebody from here was already up there, right?
Yeah.
Some space program. So the von Braun thing, what was the date of that or the year of that?
1957.
So the Philadelphia experiment, 43, right? So the thought was out there about time travel and all that for sure.
So
Or it could be interdimensional travel of some type.
Yeah, same. The Philadelphia experiment +1. So yeah.
well, look at what Dr. Michael Masters. Dr. Michael Masters puts up a hell of a lecture on time travel, and that what we're seeing are not aliens, but he believes, his theory is that the crafts that are visiting us, the grays, are actually us of the future.
And I thought I looked ugly now. My God.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I don't know. I think a gray looks a lot better than I do right now. I can tell you that.
Those beings have been described as being asexual. Okay.
What's the difference after 30 years of marriage?
Absolutely. Prostate? What prostate?
It's the whole tri-weekly thing. Like, when you're a young man, you do it tri-weekly. And then later in your 30s to 40s, you try to do it weekly. And then when you're older, you just try weekly.
I get it.
That was from Jagari, by the way.
Yes.
See, now try to connect erectile dysfunction to ufology, Don. Gary brings up ED, and we're going to connect it to ufology.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of wives up there that can do that just fine. You're sitting in that chair endlessly talking to Art Bell. It's no wonder you can't get it up.
You're going to have to call this the Dark Matters Comedy Hour.
Well, speaking of time travel and speaking of Art Bell, and speaking of
erectile dysfunction,
I just came across some old threads on a couple of different places about a guest that Bell had on his show back in the mid 1990s. Madman Markham.
It's funny. I just watched all those again because it's an amazing story. It's just, it's incredible.
Well, tell us. Okay, you are obviously on the beam there, Mark. What? Tell us the story
of the guy with the exceptional haircut.
The homemade time machine.
Yes. He's got not a 4 head, not a 5 head, but a 6 head. So this guy's got virtually no education, like we would think of education, right, Don? And right. he's inventing all this stuff in his backyard and like that. And he stumbles upon. He was working on what's that thing called with the 2 rods and the thing goes up, the plasma thing.
A Tesla thing.
And he starts to work on those. And
that's Nikola Tesla.
Right. And he's walking out of his room and he looks back and he sees this funny looking sort of globular, can see through it. It's almost like a cloud. And he's going, what the hell is that? Takes a screw, throws a screw into it, vanishes. He's walking out the door and he hears it go clinkety clink clink. And in another part of the room, it falls out. And he's going, the hell is this? One thing, it's a long story, but one thing leads to another. He steals a bunch of transformers from the local power place down the street because they're just sitting there, Judge. They're just sitting there. So he grabs them and he ups the amount of power that he needs to make an 8-foot one of these things to, like, I don't know, what was it, 80,000 volts or something like that. And They start throwing stuff through it. Some of it comes back, some of it doesn't. It blows up, shuts the whole place down, the whole city down, and then
knocks out all the power.
Right, and then he goes to Art Bell and tells his story because Art Bell saw the newscast of it, or in the newspaper, I guess. People start to want to give him money. They build another one inside of a warehouse. Oh, the second one they built, they pushed the couch through it, supposedly, vanishes, right? So then they build another giant one, way bigger, with money and things that he gets from Art Bell folks. And they continue to test it. And then some kind of a note is put out that, I think I'm ready to take this to the next level. And he's never seen from again, ever. Right. Well, I don't know if Don saw the thing on What If, or that show on YouTube, but
a body was discovered in the 1930s,
right
here in LA.
Right.
Okay. Inside a pipe.
Inside, a weird thing that he supposedly built. Right. The problem is this: there is new information, and you may not have heard this. It was on a secondary show. I just watched this too, where they found this guy alive after the story broke that somebody was found in this tube. I'm not saying somebody wasn't found in the tube. I don't know much about that, but they did find this guy alive. And they did an interview with him. I can send you guys the link, and you can watch this new information that they uncovered. But regardless, does that discount what allegedly happened with the screw and the couch and the rest of it? No, that happened. That actually happened. Oh, Don, and you'll know that they took his drawings and his, theory and thesis and stuff. The guys like our friend Brandenburg, guys like that, and they said he's on the right mark here. He's going in the right direction. If you were going to build a time machine, what he's going after here is in the realm of possibilities. That the best that we can tell. It's an amazing story, but he did not die, and he didn't end up into the 30s with this new information that came out. But it doesn't discount the mechanical issues of the story. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, there's actually not any physics that I'm aware of, and I'm not a physicist, not even close.
Yeah, but you play one on TV.
Nah. But anyway, there's nothing, and I've read there's nothing that would totally discount the idea of being able to travel through time.
Right. You're absolutely.
I think we've conquered time travel. There's been a lot of stories come out of S4, out of Area 51, that time travel has been, teleportation has been done. Now we know in laboratories they say we have been able to take cells, minute atoms and stuff, and teleport them. So if that is coming out to the public now, think about what they've really done with that they are not telling us. So if they're letting out, we could do this, but it's so small, it's only atoms and stuff. That's bullshit. I mean, if they're telling us that means they're about 50 years to 100 years more advanced.
Well, I was just reading some about some surveillance equipment, techniques, and others things in that genre. My military, for the most part, information and expertise goes back to primarily when I was in the armed forces and I worked in intelligence. What we have today, by all accounts, is scary to the point of terrifying. Things that the powers that be are able to do. Right now, we are probably, by all accounts, sitting on the verge of some possible catastrophic events that may be happening in this country that would make 9/11 pale by comparison. Look, our southern border has been open for 3 years. It's estimated between 6 and 8 million people have entered the United States from every country in the planet you can think of, from China to Syria, Iran, Lebanon, you name it, they've come here. And how many of them may have ill intent in their hearts, especially with the political mess that we've got today with this most recent war happening in the Middle East and what's been happening in Ukraine, what may be happening in Taiwan in the near future. It's terrifying. And I really think that we've been set up to get knocked down. I'd be interested in any of your thoughts and ideas on that, guys.
Don't you think it's interesting that 12,000 years ago some inexplicable thing happened, right? We've talked about this a lot, about the floods and all this architecture and stuff that slowly has been coming back up. Here's my follow-up question, Don. Would you rather have something like that happen or something like what's being put together or manufactured to happen now? Or would you rather have something like what happened 12,000 years ago and just take care of business?
Well, 12,000 years ago, it is basically, it's not totally proven, but it's basically believed that we were hit. And when I say we, North America, which was 3/4 under ice, up to 2 miles in depth, we were hit by a comet that came down. Okay? A comet, basically a dirty snowball, a big one. And as a result, when that thing detonated, all right, it basically caused the ice sheets to undergo the melting process. And before you knew it, the oceans had risen between 200 and 400 feet higher than what they had been from all that meltwater. All that meltwater changed the climate, the ocean currents, all right, changed that, screwed up the process. For almost 1,000 years, we experienced, once again, a mini ice age before the weather got sorted out. Now, the number of human beings, I mean, we know, we found the remains. We know that millions upon millions of giant fauna, those are animals, okay? Giant animals, great woolly mammoths, wolves, diurnal wolves, saber-toothed cats, you name it. They were wiped out in basically an eye blink, okay? Wiped out. So how many humans died? And the ones that didn't, that survived, how did they survive? I mean, these are all questions that fascinate the hell out of me.
So which one would you rather have? A blink and a reset?
The big one.
Long, protracted, manufactured thing.
If it were up to me and it was going to happen, I'd rather have the big one. Now, you know, look, on TV recently, and boy, I should really curb my tongue here. I should, but I probably won't.
Yes, you should.
I probably won't. But I've been seeing these religious promos. This one evangelical minister talking about the what the hell do you call it? The rising, you know, the people going to heaven.
The rapture. You're talking about the rapture.
The rapture, yeah. Where suddenly Billions of people are going to be
Don, you and I
floating
don't
up
have to
in the
worry
sky.
about that, bro.
No, we don't.
No,
Break
you and
time. Break time.
But
Break
here's my
time.
point. Here's my point.
All right. All right.
I think the rapture may actually happen, but it won't be because of God. It'll be because of an H-bomb.
Okay.
Okay.
Or something similar. Yeah.
Yeah, an H-bomb would
It's
cause
break time.
everybody to float to heaven.
It's break time.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Mark. We're going to take a
You got
break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to step on our private parts again. Everybody lift up your right foot, slam it down. We're back. There we go. I'm just checking to make sure I'm not muted.
Everybody here. Hey, Don, I just wanted to get back to that Werner von Braun thing for a minute. Is that okay?
Oh, hey, you bet. You're the guest, pal.
So here's what I think that is happening. Okay, so for years we have not seen the U.S. government talk about ufology. They tried to hide it. Now there's a complete 180 that they're saying, well, there's something flying out there, but now they're saying, well, it's a threat to our airspace, and it could be a threat to us, and we got to have billions of dollars. Now, one of the things when I was talking to Robert Spearing, who is just an absolute genius when it comes to ufology and stuff. I mean, he's just an amazing guy. What a researcher. He was explaining about Werner von Braun. But one of the things that amazed me is that Werner von Braun's assistant, the woman that was working with Werner von Braun,
Carol Rosen?
Yeah, I believe it was her. She talks about how Werner von Braun explained the playbook for a fake alien invasion. Did you know about that?
Yep, I sure did. And look, here's something, and I said this years ago. He got back to Rosen. I don't think she was very happy about it. More's the shame. But Carol Rosen is Jewish. And she was sucking up everything von Braun had to say, that SS colonel. I never could quite figure that out, okay? That, in many regards, offended me, that this Nazi is telling us what the American government was going to do with a fake alien invasion so they could weaponize space.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you, pal, it struck me as pure, unadulterated, 100% pure bullshit.
Well, you see, but the things that she said years ago, some of it is starting to come true. She talks about how they want to start making a thing about terrorism. Now,
well, look. All you got to do is take a look at the history. On at least 2 occasions that I'm familiar with, UFOs flew into missile silo bases, ICBMs.
Mm-hmm.
And they interfered with the nukes to the point where some of them had to be replaced. They were unusable. Now, do you think it was experimental American technology doing that? Or was it another player, Chris? And the same thing in the former USSR.
Correct.
Napa uncovered it. Okay.
Well,
something was there. Something was dicking around with the nukes. And they were sending a not so subtle message. Hey, look what we can do if we're pressed. We can do this. Keep that in mind.
No disagreement on that. But somebody back in Washington, there's no disagreement in what you said. But somebody back in Washington could have came up and said, hey, let's use this to our advantage. And we could take this narrative of what they're doing and kind of like saying, they're bad people. They're bad. They're not good people. They're not friendly to us. And then if we want to, exploit that, we can exploit that by making our own fake invasion. I mean, we've done red flag operations. The Nazis have done red flag operation. I can't think of a government that hasn't done a red flag operation, right, Don?
Yeah.
Okay, so what? There's nothing in my mind that says that they can't take a situation and turn it to their advantage and exploit it and say, blame it on them. It's them.
Hey, look. This government has a long and rich history in that kind of crap, going back to the 18th and 19th centuries. Let's not forget. Do you remember when the U.S. government very kindly gave away blankets to the indigenous populations that were contaminated with smallpox and anthrax? Do you remember that?
Yeah, they did it to African Americans too.
Yeah, look at
syphilis.
Oh, exactly. I was just going to say that. And let's not forget the MK Ultra program in the 50s, okay, where the CIA was routinely dosing people without their knowledge of LSD, mescaline, all kinds of mind-altering drugs.
Let's party,
okay?
Baby. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're not kidding. And some of them died, okay? Yep. One famous example, a guy either jumped or was pushed out a window. Hey, yeah, this kind of stuff has been going on forever. You got unscrupulous bastards in government. Just take a look at today, all right? But look, that doesn't negate the fact that somebody is up there flying around, that somebody has been pulling some odd maneuvers. And hey, there's things like STS-48 and other shuttle missions where unforetold things have happened in space. There's the Soviet Phobos 2 probe that was rammed and destroyed for who knows what reason. So yeah, I'm not discounting that there are others out there, and not all of them are very fond of us.
Now, one of the things that Rosen explained is the first thing they would have to do is put up all kinds of satellites into orbit in order for project I think they gave it a name, Project Moonbeam. Is that what it's called? Project Moonbeam.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about the Starlink satellites?
I'm talking about all kinds of satellites. It doesn't have to be Starlink. We've got hundreds and hundreds of satellites that have nothing to do with Starlink up in space. And so that was one of the things that they said, well, first thing we got to do is this. Then we have to start making a narrative of a threat so we can get the money to do all this. And lo and behold, she says before any of this happened, well, let's make a terrorism. What a great line to use to get the money for this project. I mean, we have done things that have come true. We could look at conspiracy theories and say, wow, that's a conspiracy, but it's not. I'll give you an example, and I'm getting a little off topic here, but it's important that what the U.S. government is capable of doing. So back in the 60s when Kennedy was president, there's a project called Operation Northwood, Project Northwood. Have you ever heard of it, Don?
Say again?
Project Northwood. Have you ever heard of it?
Northwood.
So they wanted to get into a war with Cuba. And so what they were planning on doing, they had the ability to remotely fly a jet airliner. They were going to have tape recording people yelling and screaming in that they're under attack. And they were going to tape recordings. They were going to load the plane with phony people. They were going to load recordings into that. It's called Operation Project Northwood. And they were going to fly it by Cuba and say that Cuba attacked and downed this plane. Now, nobody would have got hurt because they can fly the plane remotely. This was back in the 60s. So our actual government was thinking of things of what happened in 9/11 because people, I don't know if it's true or not because I've never really studied 9/11, but there are people, brilliant people out there swear up and down that 9/11 was planned. 9/11 was an absolute debauchery of some kind of red flag operation, whether that's true or not. But I guess I'm comparing like the two, that the U.S. government was planning on doing that to start a war. And they started Vietnam with the Gulf of Tonkin.
Well, you go
Gary,
back
am I
even
right?
further than that, though, Chris, and you remember the Maine. That was cahoots between Hearst and members of the government to start a war with Spain.
Mm-hmm.
We know that happened.
So here's a new one that somebody just sent me, and it can go around the room. What do you think? So somebody I know sends me a video from a guy talking like we are now, and he says, the Suez Canal. Yeah, and he shows the map, and he says there's been a secret program to put another canal, let's say north of there. I don't know if it's north, but it's up north of there, and it's going to go through Gaza, and it's like quite a bit longer, and it's going to go to the same basic it's going to go to the same basic place.
Is that like near Biden's railroad?
Right. And they say the way that this guy said, the way that they're going to do the earth moving, the excavation, get this. This is brand new. 500 nuclear explosions. All right?
What?
Wait. So he sends this thing to me and he says, hey, you might want to see this. And it's probably 20 minutes long, and that's in the first 2 minutes. After he says that, I stop it and I sent him a message and I said, first off, I'd have to know of any other example of using nukes to do excavation. And the other thing is radiation fallout on your own people. What are you talking about? I mean, and
It's
that's
ridiculous.
a brand new story that's come out now that's being told. 500 nukes to make.
If I said the guitar player, would I be close?
Yes, you would be. Now, he wasn't saying that he believed it, but he was passing it along, right? And now, if I see something like that, again, it's no slap at my butt.
You're talking about the dude from Blink 182, right?
No. But I wouldn't even pass this along because it's so outrageously stupid. 500 nukes to dig the canal. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. Why would you give this any time at all? But again, you know as well as me, if you were to go underneath the video, there would be a bunch of people saying, yep. I heard it. I'm sure. It's craziness.
Well,
I read it on the interwebs, so it's got to be true.
You got to be true.
A lot of that going around these days. A lot of that going around.
But sadly, some of the stuff that we're saying will be put in that same basket, if you get my drift, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but some of that stuff we're saying has come true.
Oh, no, I'm not saying it's not. But then again, we allegedly went to the moon, Chris. We allegedly went through the Van Allen belt, and we allegedly...
Yeah, well, look, there's still people that are willing to fight to the death because the earth is flat. There's still people that are willing to fight to the death that we never went to the moon, regardless of the fact that we can go up there and we can photograph the landing sites. We can photograph the equipment left behind, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
I love that.
No matter how much proof.
Mark, you must have been a lawyer in a private life or another life.
No, that's the way they are, though, Chris.
I just love to trigger the people. It's great.
You can show them all the evidence in the world, telescopic, and they'll still go, well, that's not proof.
That was the Chinese. It wasn't us, because I hate America. That was the Chinese. But again, I talked to Don about this a lot. Don did that huge expose on Cooper, right? Well, if you go onto the internet now, not only does he have a cult built around his book, To Ride the Pale Horse, I guess that's the name of it.
Behold a pail of horse shit.
Right. He's got a cult built up around him, but so does Myers still, and so does Dr. Jonathan Reed. You cannot stop this stuff, right? You can't stop this stuff. We are so connected with wonderful technology, and we're more stupid than we've ever been.
Hear, hear.
And it's the passing of, because, I brought up Sean Ryan earlier. I love his show. But he brought on Dr. Stephen Greer with his book and his bullshit. And it's like, why are you going to somebody like that instead of Don Eckert?
But Gary, nobody challenges him. Nobody.
Ever.
I mean, all I have ever seen him do is get softball questions. I've never seen
exactly. You go watch Sean Ryan interview him. It's exactly what he does. He takes everything he says as fact.
I heard Chris Deperno said that they may not be friendlies up there who are flying around. Greer says they're all friendly. Who am I going to believe? Who am I going to believe?
Well, I got to tell you something. If somebody takes me at 2:00 in the morning, makes me go through their ceiling, takes me to a cold steel table, and starts taking stuff out of me that I don't want them to take out of me. Not that I'm using it at my age, but it's still, it's mine, right? I don't call that an experiment. I call that kidnap and assault. I don't know. You get, for the greater good of humanity, taking crap out of me, without my saying. I mean, hey, I could be wrong.
I call that a Saturday night in Hollywood. Come on.
Well, the only saving graces I got is that with my fat ass, they're going to have a tough time getting me through the ceiling and a tough time getting me through the ship. They're going to say, hey, wait a minute. We can't pull this load up.
Hey, I don't want to shift too far, but Genghis Khan, I've been reading the chat over on Rumble. Had brought up if we were going to or had talked about what do they call that? Out of place artifacts?
Ooparts.
Yeah, ooparts. Where you have objects that shouldn't exist in ancient time but do, like a wristwatch, that wheel that clearly looks like it's from an analog computer.
So if they're on the Rumble and they haven't gone to the YouTube channels, there's two of them, Mystery History and Mystery History 2. You must go there. They don't pass too much judgment, like saying for sure that the stuff is real, but they do a great job of showing stuff that I've never seen before. Very odd stuff, and you're like, well, wait a minute, right? Because we've all heard about the giant rocks that are cut completely square that you just can't move. We don't know how they moved them and all that. But there's so much more, like Don says. Even with the giant stuff, me and Don talk about that a lot. I'm not saying that there weren't giants and all that. I don't really know what to think about that. But they're parts within themselves right there, because at least initially they hid all that stuff, because people would say, I'm going to bring this to the Smithsonian. And they give it to the Smithsonian and they'd say, let's put that next to the Ark. So
back in 1993, a new book was published called Forbidden Archaeology by Michael Cremo and Dr. Richard L. Thompson. I ordered a copy of it immediately as soon as I found out about it. That is, beyond any shadow of any doubt, one of the most fascinating, mysterious, and troubling books I've ever read. And I've got it right here. And these guys, Cremo and Thompson, were taken to the docks and pilloried by mainstream academia. But that doesn't negate what they've basically shown. Now, with that being said, I am convinced, and more so every year, that prior to the Younger Dryas period, roughly 12,000 years ago, before the Ice Age was knocked out of the park, there were human civilizations that were advanced. Now, how advanced? I have no way of knowing, none whatsoever, but advanced. We know at least that, and I've got a copy of it right here, maps of the ancient sea kings, okay? These were maps, ancient maps, that were used over the years. As a matter of fact, the Piri-Reis map, which is famous or even infamous, okay, was probably taken from these earlier maps that came from ancient civilizations. Somebody basically documented the entire planet before the end of the Ice Age. They knew about the Antarctic continent. All right.
Well, we've got maps that we still have today from the 16th century that show Antarctica that should show it.
Yes, exactly. Taken from earlier maps.
Yes,
all
copied.
Right? Copied from earlier maps. That's what Piri-Reis claimed to have done.
Yeah.
But Antarctica officially was not discovered until 1820 AD. Okay, 1820. But yet, hundreds and hundreds of years before that, seafarers knew that it was there. So, what's that tell you? That at one point in our history, that's still pretty much in the dark, we had advanced human civilizations that were probably destroyed when that comet hit and ended the Ice Age. So, the bottom line is we don't know what we don't know. And that's basically all you can say about it. Would you guys agree?
And another example is Ancient Apocalypse. That guy's getting pilloried, but he did get signed up for season 2. But when he goes out there, Graham Hancock, I mean, he's just getting raked over the coals. But at his age and his experience, he doesn't care. You know, hey, he
doesn't care, and he doesn't stop. He's not going to let him stop.
I got a chance to do this. I'm going to get this information out there, whether I'm right or wrong. I'm going to get it out there, and that's a good example of the book that you bought, Don. They're like, oh no, it's not true. Well, then, can you explain this? It's just an out of place thing. I can't explain it. Oh, good answer. Good answer.
Well, in the 19th century, okay, there were quite a few discoveries, for example, of what appeared to be the remains of gigantic or giant human beings.
Yeah, because that comes down to the traditions of Choctaw, the Paiutes, the Comanche. They all talk about it.
Yeah.
That they quartered them in a cave and killed them.
Yes. You are absolutely correct. And a lot of these remains that were dug up, okay, up around the Great Lakes is a prime example. And I'll get back to that in a second. But a lot of these amateur and actually professional archaeologists would pick up these remains. They sent them back to the Smithsonian Institute, who promptly lost them. Now,
lost them.
Yeah.
But
now, at that time, you know, there was a lot of religious implications in that kind of thing. People were much more apt to just attribute it to the supreme deity upstairs and let the chips fall where they may. But how many of you guys are aware that up around the Great Lakes, nobody knows quite when, nobody knows quite how, and nobody knows quite what happened to it, but uncounted thousands and thousands of tons of copper were mined up there, going back anywhere from 7,000 to 8,000, 9,000 years ago. Were you guys aware of that?
Yeah.
I wasn't. No.
Yeah. Now, there was an interesting link that I tracked down. Now, this is some time ago when I was really hot to trot on this, but in what today is Great Britain, all right, they were able to mine a lot of tin. But at that point in history, and we're going back thousands of years ago, there wasn't a lot of copper. So somebody was mining copper here in the Northeast, and where it went, nobody knows, but it's believed there may have been trade between the Americas and the people mining tin, because this was going back circa the Bronze Age. The Bronze Age, when you guys know what bronze is made out of, right?
Yeah.
Tin and copper, which is much, much stronger than copper itself. That lasted, the Bronze Age lasted until roughly 1200 BC, when at that period of time, the whole Bronze Age collapsed. But I always wondered about that. These things, like in South Africa, gold mines discovered dating back 300,000 years ago. Who in the heck would have been mining gold 300,000 years ago, and why? You can't use it for tools, equipment, weapons. Gold is too soft. So what in the hell were they doing with it? Somebody was doing it.
Speaking of too soft, and I'm not going to go there, guys. I mean that. Speaking of too soft, then we have the people who say, oh, well, the pyramid and all that stuff, it was all built with copper tools, right? Oh, yeah. All these guys built these giant monoliths and things with copper tools. Oh, did they? Really? That doesn't make any sense to me, but that's just me.
By the way,
Well-
you know what shocked me this year or last year when I found out? And I think it was the gentleman, Graham Hancock, that I learned that from, that the pyramids are actually 8-sided, not 4-sided. And when you see aerial photography of the pyramids, they're not flat. They bend inward on what's supposed to be the flat sides of the pyramid.
Yeah, yeah.
And that freaked me out. I'm like, why is that a thing? How did that happen?
Didn't they just recently discover a chamber in one of the pyramids?
Yeah, supposedly, but we hear about that so much. I mean, here's a story about Sean David Morton, our guy who, thank God, nobody hears from it anymore. And when I saw him in the 90s, he said that there's a chamber and they opened it up and a blue light came out and they started hearing voices and things, and sounded like an acid trip to me. But
then I saw Elvis.
Yeah, right. This stuff's been going on. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but man, these chamber stories have been going on forever. And we know
Well,
that,
now
right?
what the hell is the pyramid for? They were never a tomb.
We know it's not a burial chamber.
It was never a tomb.
Nope.
And it's there much longer than they give it credit for.
Not to mention they
2500
find
BC.
deposits of salt in it.
Right. So I'm going to guess, and this, I'm just pulling this out of my
Wait, what is this a PG show or a G show today? Wait.
yeah, one of those.
I think we
It's one of
passed
those.
that. I think we passed that G rating. I think we got to the PG. We just got to keep it below X. How about that?
Under R, under X.
Yeah.
Yes, we want to keep it under R. But there are quite a few researchers out there that believe the pyramid was used in the far ancient past as some type of power generating station.
Yeah, and there's
A giant
also
battery.
there's also the people who think that it's Stargate-ish, just like the movie, right?
Yeah, I just saw something As a matter of fact, the day before yesterday, I was an article about the so-called stargates that were found all around the globe. These big, huge stone circles in all parts of planet Earth that many local traditions and myths claimed that visitors used them as portals to go off-world and around the world in them. But then allegedly, governments around the world started collecting these. They've collected them up, and God knows what they did with them. But that's also. And hey, look, we are so deep in the mushroom syndrome. It's beyond the pale. You know what that is, right?
Well, yeah, I agree with that. But when it comes to places like Baalbek and a few of those, it can't be discounted. You're seeing things that we can't do now, period, right? We're seeing all these amazing things that we don't have the technology to do. Even the short dude in Florida who built the coral place there and then he moved it, even the stuff that he did, there's no answer for that, and nobody seems to be interested, right? I mean, look at what that guy did with those giant pieces of coral and that door he had where you could push it. A kid could push it and it would spin around. And it's like, well, nobody knows. Well, aren't you interested? Not really. It's just an anomaly.
And I think that's becoming in the UFO field now. I think people are saying, yeah, okay, I've heard enough of this. I think so too. It gets to the point where people who've been in it a long time just sort of throw their hands up in the air when all of this UAP stuff happened. And I know I'm kind of fed up with the whole thing because it's like, come on, I've been at this since.
Well, it's like a band that only plays one song.
Yeah, that's a good
so many times you get tired of it,
Gary.
But hey, I wanted to share the picture because here's that picture of the pyramid at Cheops. Chanel, if you'd share that. Is she here? Chanel?
Chanel
taking
number
a pee
one?
break? Is she taking a Oh, it's
here, I'll do it.
There it is.
I did it for you. There you go.
All right. And there it is. And when I saw that, it blew my mind. I'm sorry. That blew my mind. Because I've seen photos of those pyramids since I was a little kid. All of us have.
Well, if this is true, okay, let's say it is. If this is true, why did it take this long to uncover this?
So something that's right. Photography.
But that's been around for 100 years. So,
but did anybody really do it with the pyramid? And once you see that, it kind of freaks you out. It's like, wow, how did nobody ever see that before?
It also
you can't see it from the ground.
Right. It also brings up this interesting thing that there's that thing where you see faces and everything. I forget the name of it, but you'll want to make shapes and faces out of indecipherable things. That's what we do as humans, right? So then we have things like how many of these new pyramids are being found everywhere? Are they really pyramids? How many? I'm sure you've seen. Maybe it was in the Far East.
It's the same thing.
Right. Where in the Far East they find another thing that looks like the lion, right? And you see this stuff, and are we really seeing that, or are we making this stuff up, like the face on Mars or whatever, right? Because I noticed on the Mystery History, they're showing pyramids everywhere now. Everywhere. Oregon. And
they supposedly found them in shapes down in the Arctic.
Right.
Gary, I have a question for you now, because this is the first time I've seen this about the pyramids. So the first question that comes to my mind, where the splits are between 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 4 and 5, 5 and 6, whatever, are they precise? Do they match each section? Do you know what I mean? Is 1 and 2 the same as 3 and 4?
It is aligned exactly.
Right, but what I'm saying are the measurements precise and they are exact on each side, because if they are, then they couldn't have done that without help. See what I'm saying? I'm looking at the precision of it.
The link where I found that photo, and I'm going to share it in the group chat on Rumble and on Facebook.
All right.
So everybody can go to, decide for yourself what you think's going on. But the fact is, until the facts are in,
Right,
it's all theoretical. It's hypothesis. I wouldn't even say theory. It's hypothetical.
right. Again, when we go back to the people, especially the people who've been in this a long time, when you get kind of tired of it and you throw your hands up in the air and say, I think I'll watch some Netflix. I remember in the 90s when I saw the crop circle guy from the UK, I forget his name, Colin Andrews. And I saw him, and he showed a bunch of the crop circles. Very, very cool. Now, this was in the 90s when I saw this. And they showed an amazing crop circle that had to have taken, a long time to make. But what they said, which was problematic, was this, and this goes on now. He said, this is perfect. There are no, mistakes in this. And it's on a big screen with a projector. And I'm looking at it, and I said, I can clearly see that this isn't perfect. Because, I'm a mechanic and things, and I'm looking at this going, this is bullshit. I can see that it's not a mirror for mirror sort of a deal, and there's stuff in here that's
the human eye can absolutely see imperfections.
Right, but they were selling it as perfection to this group of 300 people in this room, and I'm looking at that going, man, why are you doing this? Come on.
But Mark, people are coming out of the woodwork and claiming they know stuff about ufology, selling the most strangest. I had a woman come out and tell me that an alien spaceship landed in her backyard, and the aliens came out and asked her to fix their spaceship. Okay, now I asked her, I said, well, wait a minute. You said the aliens were having engine trouble? Yes, they were having engine trouble. They asked me.
I'm curious if it's the same story I heard. Were they selling Amway?
No, but they did have a briefcase. So I asked the woman,
Amway
I said
salesman.
to her, I asked her, I says, are you a physicist? Are you an engineer? No, I'm a housewife. What's your I'm a high school graduate housewife. So what'd you do? Kick the engine? Or did you take a screwdriver to it? I mean, this is how bizarre some of these stories are getting, that a species that's 45,000 years more advanced than us would land in somebody's backyard and say, I'm having kind of engine trouble. Can you take a look at it?
I saw that movie. It was called Jules, and the craft was powered by cats. Right, Don?
Oh God, yes! I like that movie. By the way,
it was
Mark.
Great. It was a lot of fun.
I think you and I are the only two people that like that film.
I liked it.
I thought it was great.
Yeah,
I loved it.
There was a little bit of woke stuff in there, but not enough to ruin it for me.
It didn't ruin it.
I just loved it when they come up with, well, you got to go find a bunch of cats, and we're going to put it into a Ruby, and that's going to run my spaceship. Like, oh my God, I love this.
I will tell you one more story because this is the best. So I had a guy. I saw this article and I checked on it. This guy swears that an alien craft landed on his farm. He went to there, and they were cooking pancakes, the aliens. And they invited him in to have pancakes with them. And so he says, well, they didn't really taste like pancakes. They were kind of burnt. And so they were like a little off taste of a pancake, but they kind of looked like pancakes. Now, I have never heard.
Going, Chris, you're scaring me, dude.
Well, I'm scared you, but these are stories that people
you don't know your history, Chris.
I guess I didn't know that aliens are like big pancake fans.
That happened before. Donald Kehoe wrote about it. There was
pancakes?
A guy. Yep. There was a guy, a farmer, okay, and this Project Blue Book came out and investigated it.
Well, somebody better drug test the people on Project
Blue Book. Gave him, they landed, they asked, from what I recall, for a bucket of water. He got them a bucket of water. They were cooking pancakes. They asked him if he'd like some. They gave him some pancakes, and then they flew off. Well, he kept them, okay? When the Air Force came out, he showed them. Now, of course, everybody, especially then, this is like 60, 61, everybody thought the guy was a whack job.
Oh, my God.
I think he's a whack job.
Yeah.
I'm going to share the link out to this story from the Daily Star or the Daily Sun over in the UK. Here
I think I read that the guy's name was Mr. Green Jeans. Was that the name?
Mr. Green Jeans. Good morning, Captain. All right. This is great. I'm going to put it in all the chats so everybody can have a chance to read that article from the Daily Sun about that story.
So, Chris, your bottom line currently, until more information comes out, I suppose, on the UAP disclosure thing is what's the end to their means? They're doing it for a reason.
I think Don in Don's paper says a lot to
Sure.
what the ends and the means are. Don wrote an excellent paper.
Oh yeah.
That these things are hostile. I do believe that there's
not all of them.
Not all of them, but I mean, there's some conflict going on, and I think
that's why they've been down UFOs,
right?
Because I don't think we are doing it. I think they're doing it to each other.
I agree, Gary, and I also think that we're using that narrative to our advantage on us because they're saying, "Well, we got this problem, but let's use it to our advantage and be able to spin off what we want done here on Earth."
Well, yeah, but why? Let's put it this way. There's been a lot of videos and stories and photos and stuff released for decades, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why now? Why now?
That's a good question, Mark. And I truly believe that they're getting ready to pull the reset button.
Well, guys, I go back to Unidentified, that series that was on the History Channel with Blink 182, Tom DeLonge, Hal Puthoff, Chris Mellon, Lou Elizondo, and that guy from the Skunk Works. Okay, I can't think of his name. And I've said this before. I'm going to sound like a broken record. But every episode that I watched, they had that constant drumbeat. This is potentially a threat. Now, I've been doing this UFO crap for a long time, okay? Over 3 decades I've been doing this. And I butted heads in that period of time with everybody from damn near every walk of life, including the government, NASA, the DOD, and never in my lifetime would I have believed ever that somebody of the stature of Mellon would ever come forward purportedly as pro-UFO. The guy was an undersecretary of defense for intelligence, okay? He's somebody that would have a leg up on damn near anybody else, okay, about what's really going on. He may not have a need to know. All right, his name might not be on Lockheed's bigot list, but he's got a pretty good idea. Well, what's his agenda? Okay, what is Mellon's agenda? What's Elizondo's agenda?
Or are they just
Tom DeLonge? Who gives a shit? But
Don, are you sure agenda is the right word or motivation is the word?
Agenda. Agenda.
Agenda. All right.
Agenda.
Because you think he is doing this for a specific reason.
Are they just a message boy?
Yeah, well, the bottom line is, I came to the conclusion, and Mark, I've told you this, and I think I told you, Gary, that when I sat down and I really put my hat on and thought about this, it could only be one of several reasons. Number one, the biggest dog and pony sex show the Pentagon has ever floated. Okay? Number two, they genuinely know something may be coming at us, and somebody gave the word to start preparing the public. Okay? The third one is, it's all smoke and mirrors. Let's have some fun. Who knows? Who cares? Okay. Because the government, at least officially on the record, has never treated this with any respect at all. Until 2017, December, with Harry Reid. Then the Nimitz Battle Group business came out. And then Mellon purportedly got those Pentagon videos of the Tic Tacs. Now, maybe they are our technology, Chris, those Tic Tacs. Maybe they are. And maybe we're floating a story to the Russians, the Chinese, the Iranians, the North Koreans. Hey, we're telling everybody we think this is ET, but this is our shit. You screw with this, and we're going to show you what this can do.
There's a lot of logic in that, Don.
And also back at home, you have this unending story that can be manipulated. That, let's say you want the Epstein flight log. Let's say you want to know who released the abortion thing and all that. You could be, once this is set up, you could be able to then utilize this as the shiny object. And every time something happens and we don't want to deal with this, you release a shiny object, a UFO,
it's the whole wag the dog thing. Yeah,
right. To just keep us over there, going, "Wow, this is so
just
cool."
As a prime example, just a prime example in the news, everybody's the drumbeat for January 6th, and yet we have a list of names that went to Epstein's Island on those flights and on those cruises, and nobody has been prosecuted.
Well, right, but it's even as less important is the person who leaked the abortion thing, right? That's way less important to me than the Epstein, and they won't even release that, right? So
no, they won't. So they don't want to talk about it.
Chris might be right that this can be used as a tool. And if something really big starts to break, right, even the Third World War or whatever, you use those satellites, boom, could be a UFO, could be Jesus, could be a number of things, right? Just to freak everybody out and like, oh, I'm way more interested in this shiny thing.
Mark, to capitalize on what you're saying, the first thing you would have to do if you were going to do something, you got to make people believe. And the only way you can turn the narrative around is start talking about it. Now, what will make people believe it even more is, like Don said, if we produce this as a threat. Because if we said, nah, these are warm and fuzzy, don't worry about it, nobody will give two damns about it. But when you start using the narrative threat, people go, threat? What do you mean? What? These are threats? These are dangers? What the hell is going on with these UFOs and stuff?
Well, back in the 90s, okay, when Area 51 was still the soup du jour of the UFO field, okay, Bob Lazar, all that business, the black mailbox, all these things, all right, were on the tip of everybody's tongue. We got a call from somebody, and at that time, there were people driving out to Area 51 all the time. There were all kinds of demonstrations and things being put out there. The little alien, do you guys remember that? Yep. The little alien, all that stuff. My buddy Richard Saraday went out there a number of times. Glenn Campbell, not the country western singer, but the guy that was doing the Desert Rat newsletter. These were all very well-known names at the time. We get a call at UFO Magazine. It was somebody we knew and said, Don, you won't believe this. And I said, what? Well, me and some buddies were we drove out to Area 51. We were right at the black mailbox, which, by the way, is not black. It's a white mailbox. But he said, we're driving along there real slow. He said, suddenly, he said it looked as solid as my hand in front of my face, we're driving down there, maybe 35, 40 miles an hour, right at the black box. Suddenly, Wile E. Coyote, 6 foot tall, popped out of nothing and was standing there watching us.
I heard about this. Yeah.
Oh, you
I
did?
think you're the one who told me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, Wile E. Coyote? He said, man, I can't explain it, but that's what we saw. Well, what's that tell you? I'll tell you what it told me. Somebody has some technology where they can launch holographic images that look as solid and as real as an Abrams M1A1 tank.
Exactly. Exactly. So then
Wile
we
E.
have
Coyote.
So then we have the Battle of Los Angeles that actually happened. Whatever happened, we don't exactly know, but it happened.
They thought it was the Japanese. And
right. But it was a big deal, right? So with the holograph or that program that Chris talked about, Star Spink, the sprinkle or something, you could do something just like that, right? And you could do a similar thing, but an amazing, inexplicable Battle of Los Angeles with 3D holographic, yada, 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 and have guys go out there shooting at it just like they did in February of 42. Same thing, but way more believable now when something hits the fan over there in the other country, right? I mean, I think it's about that. I really don't think it's about.
You still think it's about wagging the dog? I got you. I feel you,
man.
I do want to point out before we end the show that Don, you're the one who went blue tonight twice. You scared me. You said that quote, "When I was young and hot to trot." One. Number two, when you said the dog and pony sex show.
I'd like to see photos, please. Yes,
please.
Well, we crossed the R barrier now.
Yeah, that's it. We're done.
Yeah.
Man,
Well,
good show tonight, guys. That was fun.
Yeah, we still got about 3.5 minutes before Chanel is going to boot us all the hell off the air.
Get out of here.
Chris, do you got any last thoughts, buddy? You're the guest, my friend.
I tell you, this has been a great show. I've really enjoyed. I always enjoyed talking to the three of you guys. You guys do a fabulous job. You keep the conversation lively. I personally think that we are going to be heading into some very trying times, and I think that they're going to try to do things that we're just not going to like. Mm-hmm. And I really think that we're going to have some really difficult situations ahead of us.
And they're going to go like this.
Yeah, exactly, Mark. I do believe that. And
the thing I'm waiting for, Chris, and I'm curious, your thoughts on it is if they do expose the fact that these things are real. Now we don't do a complete dump. We know they'll never do that.
No.
But what if they do come forward and say, yeah, this shit's real, and sorry guys, there's nothing we can do about it.
I think there's a battle about that going on right now. I think that's why Sean Fitzpatrick resigned from Arrow. I think why does a guy give up a job like that? Wanting to know the biggest question in the universe: are we alone?
Yeah.
And why does a guy just say, hey, screw it, I'm out of here?
Politics. I'm done with the politics.
Pretty much. But what are the
it's
politics?
like he knows the truth, and he's like, this is pointless.
Thank you, Gary. That's exactly what's probably.
So, Don and Gary, check your email. I sent you out a few things while we were on the air, and hopefully you'll appreciate.
I saw the Jonestown.
Yeah. It's
the
great.
I'm like
years
ago. It's really good.
I've been deep into that, and that series is the best thing ever put out on Jonestown. So,
yeah, I watched it when it came out, and it still freaks me out. It still freaks me out. I remember watching that news.
I lived up there near San Francisco when it all went down, and it really got under my skin. So, anyway, and transfers for Don. Don has 6 episodes.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Oh yeah. Don,
that's David Cronenberg, right?
I love Tim Thomerson.
Tim Thomerson.
Oh, Tim Thomerson. Yes.
So I sent
Yes.
all of those out to you guys. So now you can watch Tim Thomerson until you've had enough of him.
Let me know when you get a hold of the Michael Caine version of that story of the old vet, because I would love to get a high HD copy of that.
Absolutely.
Guys, we are down now to mere seconds. All of you stand by.
We all explode like a Monty Python episode.
Yeah. Well, if I hit the button, if I hit the signal, yeah.
don't hit the candy like button.
But that's it for this week, ladies and gentlemen. I might have a very special surprise for next week's show. But that's it. Have a great week. Keep your eyes pointed up, and we'll catch you next time.
It's just a flesh wound.
Good night.